and I don't want to look over. And then if the font is so large, now I'm like reading the text and I'm like, I'm trying so hard not to look. But now it's like an older individual and we're sexting and there's pictures and I'm like, no,
They were?
yes. And I was like, oh my God, stop looking.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
What up, girl? Happy
what
Thursday.
Up with you?
Even though it's
Thursday. Yep, it's Monday. A lot of people are concerned about you. I have not talked to you after this weekend. Called you in the middle of brushing your teeth this morning, so this is going to be our catch up. I want to call this version of Calm Down a little bit of perspective because we got some last week when you FaceTimed Kelly Stafford and myself. Just leaving a car accident. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Holy shit. I'm so thankful you're okay.
Thank you. Well, you know what? You know how those people that it's like, oh, it's always something with her. Like we're either going through a divorce, we're either getting a car accident, we either have an appendix taken out. Like this bitch has always got something. So I hate that where it's like my life is finally like everything's back in order and like things. Do you know what? Like something bad happens. Do you ever have these moments where it's like it's always a sunny day and I'm sitting there and I'm driving and I just left a meeting and like productive meeting and I'm like, life is so good. And then bam, I did not see this mother came out of nowhere.
Are you stopped or are you driving? Tell us everything.
Driving, listening to music, just having a lovely day. I'm on my way home. I'm like 10 minutes from my house. La-ti-ti-ti-ta, birds are chirping. Everything is great in the world. And out of nowhere, this dude just comes and it was everyone I hope, knocking on wood, that hasn't been in an accident. But if you have, that feeling where it's like, last second and there's literally nothing I could do. He made an illegal left turn. It came right out in front of me. And I was just so thankful. This is the whole cliche that I wasn't hurt worse. Thank God for the car that I was in that was like sturdy as a MFer because the damage of this guy's car was so severe that and it went like, anyways. So I was thankful for that. I was thankful because his car pushed me onto a sidewalk right by a school. Okay. Like I did not even think about this. It was this little school. Like there was a church and then there was a school, like a kid's school. And I'm like, can you imagine if someone was on the sidewalk? Anyway, so I was so grateful that no one else was hurt. He was, which by the way, he didn't even ask me if I was okay. So that's an asshole move. His car was like down the street, but I asked when the cop came up to me, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I think so. I was like, but is the guy down there okay? And he's like, yeah. Anyways, it was a really bad accident. I've unfortunately been in some accidents in my life. Some have been my fault. This one was not. And it was one of those moments where, anyone that's been in an accident, as I repeat myself, am I in concussion protocol? Can we make sure that we check the vitals here? Seriously. It's just that, Erin. It's perspective. And I called you and it was very scary. And it was one of those moments where you're like, okay, you know what? All the other little shit that I worried about or cared about is not a big deal. And it reminds you that even though I didn't do anything wrong, it's like slow down in life because you never know what could happen and when it could happen. So I'm good. Thank God for you and our other sweet friends called, got me a doctor on the phone immediately, helped me with everything. And that's who you are. The podcast before this, we were talking about favorite things about each other. You're a doer and you're get things done. You make sure I'm okay. You check on me every 5 minutes. And I'm so appreciative of that because it was a lifesaver. And then I was able to travel, go on the road. And that wasn't probably great for it. But anyways, expediting the story, it was a shitty accident. I'm grateful I'm okay. I'm grateful no one else was hurt. And thank you for being such a great friend in that moment because it was scary.
No, it was awful. And when you sent Kelly and I the picture of the car and I was like, oh my God. And then right away we were all three, I think actually, I don't want to even say it's her story to tell, but what happened to Kelly when she was trying to help you as well is also comical. And she's a pit bull and a bulldog and we love her for it. But yeah, I loved our group at that moment because, we've got our one girlfriend that I could just see the pain that you were in. I'm on my way to Jackie's because it's the first game of the season. I'm
Yep.
on a Kings
For
party
hockey.
bus.
Mhm.
I'm texting our friend who is a doctor and we love so much. And I'm like, please help her. Please help her. No idea he's in the Dodgers dugout.
Yeah, this doctor's
like
so hot is my secret crush. Actually, not secret at all. I'm like, Steve, I do not plan on cheating on you, but if I did, and if this person wasn't married, I would. I love him, so I was so excited to just talk to him. I'm like, not worth the car accident, but yeah.
No. And I couldn't get a hold of him because obviously he was working. And then Kelly's doing her thing. Matthew gets on line one. It was just like
group effort. I know. I love our group though. I was so appreciative of it. I know. It was like a full on group effort. But yeah, I was just very, very grateful in that moment to have all of you. And more importantly, that it wasn't, nobody else was hurt and like that. And you know what's so sweet? There was this sweet little girl I shouldn't call her a girl. She was a woman that worked at the temple and she came out and she was like, here's some water and here's some bread. Like there's like these sweet, like in those moments, you like see how, people stopped and there was all these witnesses and they were like, here's the information and what can I do to help? And I love that. Meanwhile, Joel Santos is on my shit list. Joel Santos drove by and he goes, hey, I thought that was you. What? Joel drove by, our friend Joel. He goes,
Don't get me started.
I was so mad at him.
Did he call you? Like, yeah, what is his problem?
I don't know. So later I go, wait, you thought you saw me and you just drove by? Anyway, so Joel's so great. He's our producer at Fox and we love him.
He had to go to a World Cup shoot or something? I mean, what the hell?
Know. I don't know, but the sweet people at the school and the church were wonderful. So yes, but all is fine and, life goes on. But yes, perspective is a very, very good thing. And I need some more of it here and there. But I just hate being the person that always has something. No one needs that friend in life. Like, oh, fuck, what is it now?
Here, I'll say this and I love you so much. Like if you date a guy for 2 minutes and then you get engaged and it doesn't go well, maybe that's the time where like, really again? But if you're my girl on the side of the road and you're not, we're so grateful. And then you posted obviously those pictures and everybody's like, is she okay? Is she okay? And yeah, that's when you realize I think seeing the airbags, the pictures of your airbags was what was I'm going to tell you what.
And here's the deal. We all work hard and you save up your money. And if I've driven all sorts of vehicles, but I am so grateful for that car. Do you know it called 911 right when I was in the accident? I heard this voice. It was like, this is 911. We've detected your car's been in an emergency, been in an accident. Can we send an ambulance? And I was so out of it because it's like, you're all your adrenaline and you're like in shock of what just happened. And I was like, I think I'm okay. But yeah, it calls 911 for you, which is incredible. Think about it. If I was like knocked unconscious or something and it does that for you, and if you're non-responsive, then they'll send someone. Incredible. I mean, technology these days, really, really cool because...
Have you driven since or no?
I did. I drove today and let me tell you,
PTSD.
I feel like, oh my God, I don't like this driving thing.
No.
Admittingly, I've never been a good driver because I'm multitasking. I'm doing too much shit, not texting and driving. I'm really good about that. But I know it makes me a little, I don't know. Anyways, worst things that can happen in life. Thank God I'm okay. Thank you for everything you did to help me.
No, all good. Now, I have a perspective story if you want one.
I want everyone's perspective, especially yours.
We got a good dose of one this weekend, and part of it. And you and I were texting during the game. Greg Olson has an incredible little family. And even if he hadn't gone through what they went through since his son TJ was born, then, they would still have great kids. 2 weekends ago when we did the Rams, who the hell did they play? Who the Rams play?
Dallas.
Oh,
yeah. Well, your games run together because you're freaking going in and out of everyone.
Yeah. But you too. But so we did LA Dallas, and he has 3 children. Mm-hmm. One are a set of twins and a boy and a girl. Tally, he brought Talbot to our studios, and you were so great to her and got her an adorable little bracelet for her birthday. We took her out to dinner, had such a great time.
Cutie.
And then this week he was so hysterical. He's like, hey guys, hate to keep pushing my kids on you, but my son's baseball game got canceled, and I'd love to see if maybe he could come for the weekend. He wants to go to Green Bay so bad. And we were like, no offense, but if he's anything like your daughter, bring him, but he better be like your daughter because she was a dream.
Yeah.
So this little angel, we all had a lot. It's tough travel to Green Bay. So Saturday night, we do our meeting. TJ walks in and it was obviously
10,
a national
right?
story. Yeah, he just turned 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And couldn't be more good looking. As I was telling one of our bosses, I hit on this kid. I cried 5 times listening to his story, and then I hit on him about 6 times. So it all added up. But he walked in and as I hope you all know, but it's been a national story. TJ got a heart transplant last summer.
Huge.
And the pictures Greg shared, the moments, I went back and looked at some today when he told his brother and sister that they found a heart, just things like that. They really were open about the whole experience, obviously, to raise awareness. And they've just been great ambassadors for children who have heart problems and also transplants. So they've been lovely as a family, and they raise a ton of money and all that kind of stuff. So he comes and he just walks into our meeting room, and he has the biggest smile, and he's so good looking. And Greg and Kara have obviously been fantastic parents. And he said, go around the table and shake everybody's hand. I love that when parents make kids do that.
Absolutely.
I think
good
you
manners.
Don't see it anymore.
Look them in the eye. Yep.
Hi, I'm TJ. So of course I'm like, I don't want to shake your hand. I want to hug you.
Yep.
Anyways, we have a great dinner in our meeting room. We're all talking. And then we finally get to the whole story of his heart. And to listen to a 10-year-old sit there and talk about how, I guess not a week before, and I don't want to misspeak, before they found the actual heart, he had to work out so hard, almost like overexert himself to get his body and his chest ready. We were just hearing stories about that. We were hearing stories about the day that they found out they got the heart. You know, Greg talks about it that they found out at 2:30 in the afternoon. He goes in at 5 a.m.
Oh my God.
Greg's
that
brother
quickly,
Kevin works with us. Yeah. And he was saying how the whole family was like all hands on deck. We're coming to the hospital. We're going to be with you. Greg starts talking about it. Took 4 hours to open up his chest because he had so much scar tissues. I was like, I'm going to pass out. But he's talking like this in front of his kid. And TJ is so open about it. He was like, I didn't realize how sick I was until I got this new heart, because now I have so much energy.
Wow.
I used to come home from school and be so tired. I think Greg said his original heart was only working about 20% of what it should have been. It was incredible. Like I said, I cried about 5 times. Like, it was just amazing. He looked over at Greg and he was talking about the night that they found out he had a new heart. And he goes, Dad, you cried so hard that night. And I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Well, and here's the part that makes me so sad is that the call they've been waiting for means that somebody else has lost their son. And that's it gets me every time, because there was a little boy in Alyssa's room when my niece had a brain tumor and they shared a room. And then one day you go in there to visit her and he's not there. And I'm like, I don't know how those nurses in that pediatric ward do it. It takes a very special person to be able to do that. But yeah.
So he's, it couldn't have been cuter. And we're all sitting there and we're all just like, oh my God, this kid is so impressive. You would never know. And even Greg said that. Can you believe it's been a year? So we're all sitting there and he's like, Dad, I have 2 things I want to do tomorrow. And he was like, what's that, bud? What's that? I want a cheese head. We got you. We'll get you cheese head. And Dad, do you think I could meet Aaron Rodgers? And Greg's like, no, there's no. Aaron's got a game tomorrow. We're not going to bother Aaron Rodgers. He said, but what about for warm-ups? And Greg's like, he doesn't come out for warm-ups. He just doesn't do that. And there's that pre warm-up where the guys are in their own clothes, in their own practice clothes, whatever. They're all that. And Aaron doesn't do that anymore. Usually the older quarterbacks, whoa, sorry, Aaron, you're not that old. But older quarterbacks don't do that. And he just usually stays in and gets warmed up. But he comes out, obviously, when the team is out there. And you know this very well because you have friends that play, obviously, in the league. We hate bothering those guys. We hate asking for favors. He has a lot going on. He has a lot going on today now that they lost. But it was just sitting there. It's 8:00 at night. This kid says goodnight to us, and it couldn't have been sweeter. And I just said, screw it. I'll see if he's up. And I texted Erin, and I just said, I don't ask for much from you. And then I wrote, ha, 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 ha. I hate ha's. But I was like, I'm just letting you know that Greg has his kid here. This is the one that had the heart transplant. And all he wants to do is just meet you tomorrow. I don't know if you'll have time. They're going to try and stick around on the field. If you see him, I just wanted you to know that's TJ. And he wrote back right away and he said, I'll look for him. And so I was so excited. I told Greg and TJ, but then And TJ was like, oh my gosh, Dad, what am I going to wear? Like he had his outfit and all that stuff and his new Nikes. And I was telling Jared about it the night before. And Jared said, Erin, I wish you hadn't told him, because what happens if Rogers has stuff going on? He doesn't see him. Like, so I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
Oh,
Pre-game happens. TJ's down there. He's lined up. He's ready to go. I'm freaking out. I'm like sweating. It's 40 degrees. I'm a full sweat. I'm a panic. And I said to Greg, if it doesn't work out, leave your kid down on the sidelines with me. Like after the anthem, I'll shove him in Erin's face. Like I'll get it done and get security to bring him up. He's like, Erin, it's fine. I'm stressing out. I'm so worried. Charissa, I haven't even told you about this, and this will make me cry. This is a part I'll never forget. And it wasn't even with Erin coming over. It was so sweet. We're standing there.
I'm about to cry because you're crying. Oh my God.
Because it was so sweet. And this is where like perspective and like if anyone in my life ever has a bad attitude again, I'm just going to give them TJ Olsen's phone number and they can call him. I was laughing with my parents today and I was like saying, this is how my dad is with Mickey Mouse. He just gets so excited. He's always like, Mickey, like because of his kid. It's so cute. We're standing on the field. And like you can hear the crowd start roaring because they've announced that the Packers are coming out and they're not running. They're all just standing in the front of the tunnel. And Erin's just standing there with his hands in his pockets. And they announce, you know, ladies and gentlemen, the Green Bay. And all of a sudden, TJ sees him standing in the tunnel because you can kind of see in the tunnel where we are. And his hand just shoots up in the air and he starts waving at him. No. And I was like, I can't stand this. And this kid's dad played professionally, you know? So it's not too, like, it's still such a special moment. Like, it's freaking Aaron Rodgers. So he just waves his hand. He's like, hi. And Erin looks over and he's probably about 20 yards from us. And he just kind of side looks, helmet on, walks out and then beelines over to us. And all of us, like they showed it on Fox. We've all put it on our Instagram. It was just like, we all have friends. Like we're so grateful and lucky enough to have, you know, good friends that play in the league. But like when they do things like that, you're just like, I love my friends. They're so special. And I love Erin so much for that. Yeah.
Because it's way bigger than anything else, right? It's bigger than the sport. And that, yes, his dad played, but he doesn't look at his dad the same way that he does. Like Erin, like he's like, it's his dad, right? As opposed like, this is like, you know, we loved Michael Jordan growing up and like wonder if our dad could like get us to meet Michael Jordan after like everything that we, you know, God forbid if we had to go through even an ounce of what those little nuggets had to go through. And you know, and Greg talked about it on the broadcast and saying like, you know, Erin reached out to Erin and like those little things, like it takes one text from you, but think about the memory that he has now forever. And that's where it's like, when I think about, you know, the Make-A-Wish stuff and why that's like always makes me cry because of my niece. But, you know, all she wanted to do was like go to Dancing with the Stars and you had her come and she was so excited. Like she still has that picture in her college dormitory because that's how old she is now. But like those things matter and they go such a long way. And this is also why we love sports in the world where it's like it transcends everything and you forget about your problems for a while and it unifies people. And I just love it. And that's such a good story. And look at us, so emotional.
Bawling our brains out. We had this moment where the boys had to then go up through the stands to get up to the booth because they waited so long. They couldn't go in the elevator. So they had to get up there. They were waiting that long on the field to see Erin. So they're so excited and everybody's like, oh my God, so awesome. You got a picture. So then they came over to where I stand and we walked over and Erin's throwing to his wide receivers. And all of a sudden he goes, hey, and he said, TJ, and he threw him a ball and TJ caught it. And we were all like, and Greg's caught passes in the NFL. We're like, oh my God, did anyone get video of that? Like, it was like Greg was a fan.
Cute.
It was so cool. I'm so grateful for Erin for doing that. I know he's probably not happy on this Monday morning, but I've sent him all the texts from Carol Olsen and Greg.
Sweet.
And, what a dream.
Really, really sweet. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Perspective is a good thing. And, you know, I know sometimes and then on this podcast, we talk about everything. And sometimes we bitch about trivial stuff because that's life. But when you have moments, whether it's that or, you know, different things that are happening in our lives, it is nice to take a minute and appreciate all the good things that are happening. So
no, don't get
I
me
love
wrong.
that.
I then texted you guys at 11 o'clock at night and I said, I have an idea. I want to talk about people who pass gas on planes and then we land and I'm judging everyone. So, I still have perspective on humor, but.
That is funny though. There's the people and okay, wait, tell your story because then I want to, since we spend half our lives on planes, this is why the stories that we tell all revolve around traveling.
Yeah.
I also, the dudes that are fucking, excuse my language, that are snoring on the plane.
Come on,
they're
buddy.
so loud. I know. And I know it's not your fault. You like fall asleep, but the passing the gas and you knew where it was coming from, didn't you?
Well, it wasn't hard to figure out when it happened the entire 3.5-hour flight.
No.
It's like one little pass and you're like, okay, wow, that must have been a tough lunch or something. But then it's like the whole flight. And it was like, I was literally wearing this shirt because apparently I don't wash my clothes and I'm wearing it all day. I was throwing this up over my nose.
No.
And just at this point, I was like, I want to wear the COVID mask again, because I'm sitting in this guy's fart. It's disgusting.
No, was it the dude right next to you?
I think it was the guy in front of me.
Ew.
Who was wearing a Notre Dame shirt. So you know who you are.
You know who you are. You're a joy stealer. That's who you There's a joy stealer.
Joy stealer.
Erin and I like to refer to people like that we don't like. They steal our joy. Okay, there's a lot of different things on our list because I'm getting better about writing this stuff down because I'll forget it. Speaking of on a plane, so when you're sitting next to someone and that screen is so bright and you can't help but look over, and I don't want to look over. And then if the font is so large, now I'm like reading the text and I'm like, I'm trying so hard not to look, but now it's like an older individual and we're sexting and there's pictures and I'm like, no,
they were?
yes. And I was like, oh my God, stop looking. And then I was like, but I want to look. I want to see what's happening here. And I was like,
this sexting on their computer.
They were sexting on their phone, but the font was so big. And I was like,
Jackie
oh my God.
Quick makes fun of my font all the time, but it wasn't me.
And, and then I'm like, wait.
Sending pictures?
And sending pictures. And now it wasn't really, really bad pictures, but it was enough. But I was like, and then I looked at the person. I was like, oh my God. I was like, maybe I need to spice it up here because there's something going on here with this situation. And I was like, yeah, but then I couldn't help. I kept looking over and I felt like such a perv. I was like, Charissa,
plus you were on pain pills.
Looking over. Well, maybe that's why I kept looking over because my neck only moved in one direction. And I was like this.
Harry Styles.
I was like, sorry, I can't stop looking your direction. Keep up the good work. Oh. I mean, oh my God. I was like this. It was like a total, I don't know. I was like, this is so embarrassing that I keep looking over and they probably they didn't actually see me, but they should have because it was very obvious. But when someone's computer's open and even if it's not about the sexting thing, it's like you're looking at the spreadsheets and then I'm like, insurance rates. Like, stop looking at other people's shit, Charissa. Rude.
I sat next to a very, very famous model, not Giselle, on a flight either from New York to LA or LA to New York. And I was privately dying that I was sitting next to her because me, I love a model.
Was it Bella Hadid? Because that was my encounter.
No. But everything she was doing, from the shit she was spraying on her face to her breath mints to her moisturizer to she then pops open her computer and I'm like,
what was on the screensaver?
So hard. I don't remember, but I do remember she kept creeping another model's Instagram page.
Ooh,
it was so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So I wasn't next to sexting. I was next to kind of not jealousy, but kind of checking it out.
Interesting. I know. And then I've gotten that privacy screen before, but that privacy screen I bought that privacy screen for my
You yelled at me for not having on one.
I know, but I need to put another one on because the problem is then I can't really see my own text message. Everything's dimmed, but I think I need to get another one because if I'm creeping, other people are creeping. When I sat next to Bella Hadid, when I was on my way to New York and I was so excited to sit. I don't know if I've told this story before. I was so excited because she was FaceTiming us when she was still with The Weeknd and she kept being like, Abel this and Abel that.
For me.
And I was like, oh my God. And on FaceTime, this is the only FaceTime call I ever wanted to listen to on a plane. She was like, Abel, I don't think we have time to go there. And I was like, oh my God. And then of course, this is me, which by the way, I should have never been hired for an entertainment show because I'm like, Abel, I thought his name was The Weeknd. Idiot over here. I was like, Sunday? Sábado Domingo? I was like, I have no idea. Okay. So then the waitress, that's so rude of me. Waitress, you know how we feel about flight attendants. I'm thinking I'm at a restaurant with her. Love the flight attendant. So the flight attendant comes around and she says to me, she's like, oh, will you be having anything to eat on the flight? I'm like, no, thank you. And then they ask her and she's like, oh yeah, I'll take the pasta. And then I was like, oh, me too. I'll take the pasta. I did whatever she did. I was like, models eating pasta. I'm eating pasta. I literally, and then I just kept like, man, I'm going to tell you what though, seeing a model in person, I needed to put that fork down. They are so small.
So
like
thin.
the legs were the size of my arms.
Yes.
Anyways, there's some
Very
things in life
thin.
you realize you're never going to be. So, but she couldn't have been nicer. I started chatting her up.
Good.
All of a sudden, pasta turned to, have you ever been to Buca de Beppo's? I was just trying to strike up conversation. Who says, have you ever been to Buca de Beppo's?
Family style?
This girl. She was lovely. Anyways.
With Yolanda?
Yeah. I love Yolanda.
Oh my God.
So many things. So I'm a creeper on a plane. Everyone, if you sit next to me, get a privacy screen or dim the light. So that's good. And
I felt bad. This guy on the plane, when I finally got to Green Bay, and like I said, it's a tough travel day. You go long 3.5 hours and you sit in the airport for a minute and then you take an hour flight, little small jet. We finally land. I look like dog shit. And we land. The guy goes, so you're from Green Bay? I was like, no. I mean, and then I realized how aggressive that was. And I was like, love Green Bay, by the way, just tired and need to brush my teeth.
Yeah, where you're flying to places that you like, I would never live here. You're like, half the planes from here. You're like, I'm an asshole. My bad.
Sorry.
Oh, also, speaking of planes, this is centered around perspective and planes. It's the episode of P, not where we're talking about P, of course, just things that start with the letter P. All my pills. My pills. I gotta eat so I can take my back pill. Where's Clark? He's up on the roof farting around. I had the 2 pain medications. So, when there's a little rattle going on, and speaking of like the people that are judging around you. So they're thinking I'm over here popping all these things like this pill popper crazy over here. And I want to, I'm like saying out loud, like, oh, my neck hurts so bad. Thank gosh I got my pain pills. Like trying to like say why I'm taking these pain pills because I'm so embarrassed.
I'm pictures like of my car.
Yeah. I'm like, then I'm have you ever pretended to have a conversation, put your headphones in? I didn't do this, but I was close to putting my headphones in and being like, yeah, my neck hurts so bad. I just, thank God I have my pain medication. Because I'm judging people. I'm judging the sexter next to me. They're probably judging me thinking I'm over there. Oh, yeah. Sexter and 4B. Woo. Good for them. Anyways, but I was like, oh my God. It's like, I had to like say out loud, my neck hurts. And then like the way that I was moving, they're like, this fucking nightmare. We're overshares though. Yeah. So we have to show everyone.
So crazy. Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about when Jillian didn't, of course, friend of the show, Jillian, when she had Rich Gross bring the bag through security for her.
Yeah.
And then her like dirty clothes were on the top and she was mortified.
Undies.
I know. It's like, again, when I was in the car accident, see, you got to make sure you got clean underwear on. You never know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, exactly.
Scary. But yeah,
oh God.
I would love to hear stories though from anyone. You guys are listening, DM us about different shit on the plane that you see or that you know that you're judging, whether it's on a screen, a computer, or in someone's luggage, because there's a wealth of conversation about this stuff. I know.
Oh yeah.
Where are you headed this week? It's week 7, sister.
Oh, I'm going to San Francisco, not really, Santa Clara for Kansas City at San Francisco.
Ooh, great game.
Great game, but they both are coming off a loss. Very interested to see. I got to get to studying after this, but yeah, I'm so excited. To see the Fighting John Lynches. We're big John Lynch fans. I'm a huge Kyle Shanahan fan as well. He's so fantastic, so great. Yeah, so looking forward to it. I have to say, obviously, I love the Packers. I have a great relationship with that organization because I feel like we do 7 Packers games a year. But the new energy of the Jets and their like young players who are wearing cheese heads and running up the hallway, it's just like fresh new blood, right? It's kind of fun.
70% of the Jets offense has been scored by guys that are 23 or younger. That team are their babies, but it is exciting. And the Giants too. New York is wild right now.
I know.
It's
wild.
Great. And it's great for
what a time.
The parity right now in the NFL, like just yesterday, all the different, well, yesterday I'm referring to Sunday of week 6, and just the different teams winning that you're like, what? I would have never saw that coming. So I'm into it. Keeps it interesting. Where am I headed? I'm headed to Arizona. I've got Saints and the Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins coming back for the first time. He was suspended for
Saints,
the first
Cardinals.
6 weeks.
Okay.
Yep. And that Saints team trying to find their identity in the absence of Sean Payton. They obviously have fallen short. They've always relied on their defense. So interested to see how that comes along.
Jordan, Demario Davis is there, who we love. Dennis Allen, I love their head coach. They Cardinals just got Robbie Anderson. So you got some storylines this week, girl.
Robbie Anderson. That was no surprise that he got shipped somewhere else because he got into it on the sidelines with his receivers coach. He was not having it. There's been a lot of player exchanges on the sidelines this year. I like it. Ooh, and Tom got sassy again. Lots of different things happening. Another thing too, in terms of travel, the last thing, and then I would love to hear your guys' stories. So again, DM us. But the charges, do you look at your bill when you leave hotels?
If my Fox bosses are listening to this, of course I do. No, I'm running out of the hotel. Like
never.
Literally, we've got to pick up at 8:30 in the morning. It's 8:29 and I'm running.
I want to know who these people are. I want to know who the people are that return their plastic keys. Okay. Who are those people that are like, here's the 2 that I use. I've got 12 by the time I've checked out. So a lot of our stories during football season are going to obviously be about travel because that's what we're doing a lot of, and staying in hotel rooms. I need to know who the people are that check their hotel bill, that actually go down to the front desk when they leave and go over the charges or return the plastic keys. Like, hey, here's the 2 keys or the 1 key. How about when someone's like, hey, how many keys do you want? 1? What? I need 10 because I'm going to lose 9 of them before I even get up. Where do they go? So
where all the bobby pins and rubber bands and lip glosses are.
Thank you. The black hole of all the things that we never. Oh, by the way, do you know what's in my hair right now? A rubber band from my office. Look at this. This is why I don't have any hair, because I had 17 hair things on my wrist, cutting off my circulation. You know, the ones that are too tight. So I took it off my wrist, and then now I end up with a rubber band like this. Look at this thing.
What is that even holding?
Well, I only have 4 strands of hair. Look at the breakage.
Stop it.
Look at that.
It's getting
Look
healthy.
At how dry
it's
it is.
Getting healthy.
Look at it.
Stop it.
All right. Coming up next on the Calm Down podcast. You want healthy hair? Wait, no more. Nutrafol. Actually, I've been taking my Nutrafol.
Me
but
too.
why is it standing up straight? This is embarrassing. Okay,
this is crazy.
This is crazy. So I'm telling you, these people in hotel rooms that return the keys or actually check their, wait for this word, folio. Don't call it a folio. Don't ever call it that ever again. So anyway, I'm trying to be better about checking my credit card charges, because every time that damn Amex bill shows up, I'm like, did I buy a house on my Amex and not know it? This bill is nuts. So I leave the hotel. I actually check it. We got almost, I'm not even kidding you, almost $300 worth of minibar charges. I didn't drink anything out of the minibar. I was looking for water. I didn't want the sparkling water, so I'm moving things around.
Yes, you're a mover.
I'm moving all these things out, and it's one of those sensor ones. The sensor thing got me. But I'm like, had I not checked the bill, now we're getting charged $300, and that was for the incidentals because it's a work trip, so any incident. God knows hundreds of dollars I could be spending and not knowing it. I'm checking the folio and I'm returning the keys. It's the new me. Because
I'm
these
tell
charges,
you, the old me is saying, don't say folio again. That and Portal, you're out of here. This is crazy.
Seriously. You don't know the sensor moving things around. And then I'm going to tell you what, who's to say, maybe I wanted to move things around and I wanted to eat those nuts. What are you, nuts? And then I could just say someone moved them around.
Here's my only devil's advocate with you. What are you moving them around for? Can't you
because
just
I was looking for the
door
water
and look? But you can't open and look.
They were 4 deep. It was a very, very expensive hotel. We were 4 deep. Okay. This was a bit. How
is it spring? Is it sparkling? Is it flavored? What is it?
It's ginger ale. I mean, my God. Hey, how mad do we get when there's not a mini bar though? For in the time when you want. Hey, a lot of hotels are doing away with those things, you know, and they got the fridge, but nothing in it. That's a real buzzkill, literally.
Tried
when you open
with
it
COVID. Up. I know. You're like, oh no.
I just wanted one. Huh. Yeah. Anyways, check your bill. Drink responsibly.
Cheers.
Bye.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.